Senator Susan Kent, thanks for joining us today.
Absolutely.
Senator, I want to begin with your bio, and it talks about your work in the public, private, and nonprofit sectors, but you've never held public office. So what made you run for the Minnesota Senate?
It's, the classic collection of factors that came together. I had pursued a private sector background for many years in marketing, which the more I do this, the more I realize it's really a good sort of training ground for this. If you do marketing well, you're listening to people and hearing what it is that they want and need, and then being responsive to that. So that was my private sector side. And then I got involved in public education as a parent and a community member. And like a lot of women, I think I've always been involved and interested in politics and government and issues. But after I got involved through public education, I realized, you know what, I could maybe do this. So many women think, hey, no, public office isn't for me. But as I saw it more, I was like, I could do this.
That was a pretty ambitious leap to go right to a state elected position, as opposed to, so what drew you to this?
Well, I've given a lot of consideration to running for school board in recent years. But after watching it from the front row, I realized that the biggest issues are really at the state level. And the opportunity arose in our district, and I decided to take the leap.
So you did, as you just briefly talked about, a lot of your work, according again to your bio, has centered on helping children and mothers in particular. Mm-hmm. How will your legislative priorities reflect some of these areas of expertise? Well,
I'm really honored and grateful that I'm going to get to be involved in education a lot through my committee assignments. And that has been one aspect of my focus on children long before I became a parent. I just feel like, it's not just the right thing, but it's smart policy to make sure our kids get a good start. It's the best investment we can make as a society to make sure our children are healthy and well educated and prepared for the future.
And you did, you worked in the South Washington County school districts in a variety of capacities. So what are some of the problems that you identified specifically in schools that you hope to tackle here at a legislative level?
Well, the most obvious one is that we've not been keeping up with funding in terms of inflation. Minnesota has such an amazing tradition of excellence in education. It's a huge part of why we have been so successful for so many generations. And, it's just pretty clear that we're beginning to put that in jeopardy. And I just felt like now is the time to see what we can do and focus on recommitting.
Is funding It's safe to assume funding is the most glaring obvious concern, but were there some other finer?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there are a lot of issues as you just sort of look across the board in terms of, are we doing the right things with curriculum? And, everybody talks about the upsides and the downsides of all the testing that we're doing with our kids. And, it's important to understand the outcomes and how we are doing, but is that really leading to the most effective teaching in the classroom? Are we educating our children the best if we're teaching to the test, as they say? So there are just a lot of questions and a lot of issues that I think we need to get back to revisiting.
And so as a freshman, I want to talk to you about some of your expectations, both for yourself and for this legislature.
Mm-hmm. For myself, I know it's going to be a lot of hard work. A huge learning curve. I'm already in the middle of experiencing that, and it's exciting and a little daunting, but I feel like I'm up to it. And I think one of the things that's been really gratifying throughout this process, both during the campaign when I was talking to voters and hearing what they had to say, out in my community, and then as I've begun coming together with other senators and other legislative leaders from around the state, it's very consistent. People from Minnesota want us to focus on the basics. We have some budget and fiscal issues that we've got to get in order and take very seriously. We still have a lot of financial challenges, and those are the top priorities. We can't take care of anything else until we get that house in order and really begin regrowing Minnesota's economy again so that we can get back to the kinds of things that Minnesota values so much.
And Senator, as a freshman, what do you think your role is in actually crafting some policies, specifically in the area of education?
Well, I hope that, as an active parent and one who is actively parenting a school-age child right now, I have that firsthand experience, and so I can bring that perspective. I bring, my perspective of having worked with a large school district. And a bunch of different interesting perspectives that I see out in my community. My district covers 3 sizable school districts, and so it represents you know, a pretty big cross-section, I think, of education in Minnesota.
Do you intend to craft legislation immediately, or do you think you'll just kind of sit back for a bit and see how things unfold?
I don't have anything, you know, in pencil written, ready to go. I want to see sort of how things go and jump in with my committees and those teams and see how I can best play my role.
And you seem excited.
I am. I'm absolutely excited. It's been, you get into something like this not exactly sure what you're getting into, and I am the kind of person who doesn't have a lot of prejudgments and expectations like that. So I've been just really pleased with the people I've gotten to meet and the way the Senate and the legislature is sort of structured and organized and really ready to hit the ground running on January 8th.
And my last question for you then is, what kind of pressure, is there any pressure, do you think, from Minnesotans to get things done this session?
I think from my sense of talking to my district, and I do feel like my district is such a good cross-section, I do believe that people understand we've got a lot of work to do. They want to see progress. They want to see progress focused in the right areas. And so I think if we can show them that, you know, we'll be doing the right thing. What we need to not do is wander off onto tangents. But I think if they see that we're working hard and listening to them and focusing on the real priorities in Minnesota, I think they'll hopefully be pretty pleased.
Okay, Senator Susan Kent, thank you for your time today. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.